Hello guys, I hope you all are doing good. I am Vaishali Kikan and we are discussing the VLSI technology. In that we are discussing the etching process. So today we are going to start with the wet etching, which is also called the chemical etching. Why? Because we are using some chemicals here. Okay, we will be discussing it in detail. But before that I must tell you the advantages and disadvantages of wet etching. First of all, the advantages. This wet chemical etching is highly selective, which means this process is etching out one material but leaving behind the other material as it is. So if I want to etch out the silicon dioxide from the silicon surface, I can use some chemical which is reactive with the silicon dioxide, but it is not reactive with the silicon. So this is how this process is highly selective, and this is a very good advantage of wet etching. Now coming to the disadvantage. First disadvantage I have already discussed with you, that it is not giving me a feature size which is lesser than the 3 micrometer. Okay, as I am moving towards the compact and compact VLSI chips, I want small and small feature size, which is not possible with this technology. And the second disadvantage is that this process is isotropic in nature, which means the etch rate is uniform in all of the directions. So this is also a very big disadvantage, because I want a particular region to be etched out. But if the etching is uniform in all of the direction, I cannot get a particular region to etch out the given material. Okay. So now coming to the definition of the wet etching. Here we are using the chemical solution to dissolve out the material on the wafer surface. So this process is very simple. We are using the chemical properties of the material. Okay, the chemicals react with some material and it is not reactive with some other materials. So here the byproducts are gases, liquids, or can also be solid state. So it can be materials which are soluble in the etchant solution. If these are solid in state, they will be forming the residues, as I have already discussed with you in the last lecture. Okay, so if they are gases or liquid or material that are soluble in the etchant solution, so I can easily remove the byproducts. Now here we have three basic steps: etch, rinse and dry. Okay, so first of all, I will be using some chemicals. I will be making my wafer sink into these chemicals. So this process is called the etchant sink. Okay, after that I have rinse process. Here I will be using the deionized water. So I will be rinsing this wafer in the deionized water and then I will be spin drying it. Okay, so I have already discussed about these processes in the oxidation, and I hope you remember it now. Now coming to the wet etching. Okay, so here we are having the chemicals. It is a purely chemical process. We are not using any kind of physical process. As I have already told you, this is giving me isotropic profile. I have already shown you what is isotropic profile looking like. Okay, it was widely used in the IC industry when the feature size was larger than the 3 micrometer, but now as we are moving towards a smaller and smaller feature size, I can use the physical wet etching or the chemical etching or the combination of two. Okay, I can use the plasma etching. Okay, I will be discussing about them in the next videos. It is still used in the advanced IC fabrications for the wafer cleaning for blanket film strip, because there I don't require any feature size. If I want to remove full layer, in that case I will be using the chemical etching. It is the most widely used etching process when I want to do the blanket etch. Okay, it is used for testing wafer film, and it is used for the film stripping and also for the cleaning purposes. So now here you can see if I have the 7 to 8 micrometer feature size, and here this is giving me a better results. But if the feature size is lesser than the 3 micrometer, the results would be very bad. Okay, so here you can see the profile is very bad, but here the profile is good. So it cannot be used for the feature size which is smaller than the 3 micrometer feature size, and in that case it is replaced by plasma etching for all of the pattern etching processes. Now coming to the applications of wet etching. Wet etching cannot be used for the pattern etch when we have the feature size which is lesser than the 3 micrometer, and this process is highly selective. It is widely used for the stripping etch process such as nitride stripping and titanium stripping. I will be discussing about the nitride stripping also. So as I use the silicon dioxide, okay, as a dielectric, similarly I use sometimes the silicon nitride as a dielectric. So I want to etch out the silicon nitride also, and I will be discussing the detailed process. It is widely used for stripping out the nitride also, okay, and the titanium stripping also. It is widely used for the chemical vapor deposition, film quality control, okay, because here it is a purely chemical process. It will be used for the quality control also. Here we are using the buffered oxide etch, or the BOE it is called. Okay, so here it is used for the test wafer stripping, cleaning and the reusing purposes. If I have somehow not a proper pattern that is made, so I want to remove out full of the surface, and also I want to clean the surface. For that I will be using the chemical etching or the wet etching. So now what is the wet etching? For the process of the silicon dioxide removal. Okay, if I have the silicon dioxide on the silicon surface, I want to remove the silicon dioxide and I want wet etching for that. What is the detailed process? Here I will be using the hydrofluoric acid solution. Okay, hydrofluoric acid is a very harsh acid and it will be reacting with the silicon dioxide and it will be forming this compound, okay, H2SiF6, and this compound can be easily removed. It's a byproduct, can be easily removed, and this is how we are converting the silicon dioxide into a byproduct which can easily be removed, and this is how I am making the patterns, or I am etching silicon dioxide. So normally I am using the diluted HF, hydrofluoric acid. How I dilute it? In the buffer solution or with the help of deionized water to reduce the etch rate. I don't want to reduce the etch rate, actually I want to control the etch rate. Okay, so it is widely used for the chemical vapor deposition, film quality control, as I have already told you, in the buffered oxide etch as well as in the wet etch rate ratio. Okay, so for all of these purposes I can easily use it. So here you can see this is the process of wet etching. Okay, wet etching is giving me isotropic profile, which means the etching is uniform in all of the direction. If I want 1 micrometer deep feature size, 1 micrometer deep pattern, so in that case I will be getting 1 micrometer pattern in the right direction as well as 1 micrometer pattern in the left direction also. So instead of 1 micrometer feature size, I am getting 3 micrometer feature size. This is a very big disadvantage as compared to dry etch. You can see here I have straight type of cutting profile. So here you can see we don't have any problem of extra feature size that is there in the wet etching. So this is the problem associated with the wet etching. Coming to the wet etching of silicon or the polysilicon. Wet etching of silicon dioxide is rather very easy because here I am directly using the hydrofluoric acid. On the places where I have photoresist to protect the silicon dioxide, there the hydrofluoric acid is not reacting with the silicon dioxide and it is protecting our silicon dioxide layer. Okay, but at the places we don't have the photoresist, at that place the silicon dioxide will get dissolved into the hydrofluoric acid. Now coming to the silicon etching. So silicon etching normally use the mixture of nitric acid and the hydrofluoric acid. Okay, so what is nitric acid doing? Nitric acid is used as an oxidizing agent and it oxidizes the silicon and it makes the silicon dioxide. Now if I have silicon dioxide, it can be dissolved in the hydrofluoric acid which removes the oxide at the same time. Here I am using the deionized water or the acetic acid also I can use for the dilution. Okay, so if I want to dilute the hydrofluoric acid, I will be using the deionized water. So the overall reaction is silicon is reacting with 2HNO3 plus 6 hydrofluoric acid is giving me H2SiF6. I have already told you it's a byproduct which can easily be removed. 2HNO2 is also a byproduct. It can also be again used for the oxidation purposes, and water is also a byproduct. So I hope now you understood it. Now coming to the isolation formation. What is isolation? Isolation means if I have two transistors, these two transistors must isolate from each other. These two transistors must not get shorted out. Okay, so I must make an isolation. So isolation must be starting from the topmost surface and it must be going deep inside the silicon surface. So here you can see if I have the silicon, on the silicon I have oxide and nitride. Okay, so I can be using the oxide with the help of the oxidation process. I can have the pad oxidation process, and I can have the chemical vapor deposition for the nitride deposition. Now this is my wafer. Okay, after oxidation and the chemical vapor deposition, now I want to etch out a layer of oxide or nitride. For that I will be using the photolithography process, and then I will be using the hydrofluoric acid and the nitric acid, and then I will be removing the nitride as well as oxide. Okay, so now here I have this opening. Now from this opening I want to make an isolation. For that I want to etch out silicon. Okay, so again I will be using the wet etching of the silicon. I have already told you, for the wet etching of the silicon I will be using the nitric acid as well as the hydrofluoric acid. Okay, so first of all the silicon dioxide will grow. So here I will be having the silicon dioxide, and after that I will be using the hydrofluoric acid to remove the silicon dioxide, and this is how I can make the isolation between the two transistors or two MOSFETs. So I hope you understood each one of these things. If you have still any doubt, you can refer these books, or you can reach out to me. You can put the doubt in the comment. I will be trying to resolve your doubt as soon as possible, but because of the time constraint, maybe sometimes it is delayed, and I hope you will be understanding this. And if you like it, please push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also share it with your friends. Thank you so much.